level up a few thousand degrees with the Lavahot podcast and host Joseph Connell Jr. You'll hear from ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things, from tech startup CEOs and marketing professionals to authors, investors, and sales trainers. This show will be packed with information to help you level up in life or business, taking you from on fire up to Lavahot.
Hello and welcome to the Lavahot podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Connell. Today we are going to be talking financial freedom with Michael Lehrhaupt. Real quick, let me just dive into Michael's background, give you a quick bio on him before we start cracking into how we can really start to plan for some financial freedom. So Michael is a leader in financial and retirement planning. Along with his wife, they have helped protect over $200 million in assets for their clients with a no-risk strategy, which focuses on participating in market gain without market risk. Most people don't know about the strategies that he employs. He's also the host of Safe Money Radio show and Rock Your Retirement TV show. He's also the author of Rock Your Retirement book. Michael, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, so this is a topic that I think should be near and dear to everybody's heart. Financial freedom. I think that should be, the pinnacle of where everybody is heading towards. So if you don't mind, I'd love to just get started right into that topic. Like what got you into this industry and, why is this so important to you?
Absolutely. I actually started in this industry 30 years ago. Now I'm 57. You do the math. Mm-hmm. So I was a young buck getting into this industry. My stepdad was in the insurance business, and I followed his footsteps. And I started in Florida helping seniors with what we call Medicare, which is health insurance for 65 and over, helping them with their Medicare supplements and Medicare coverages. One thing led to another, started doing a lot of long-term care insurance, which is actually covering nursing homes and home care. 2008, though, changed everything for me. We were a very successful business. And 2008, when that market crashed, the S&P 500 crashed 53% in 2 years, I started getting calls from clients who had to cancel their life insurance and their other insurance policies because they didn't have money. And they were very concerned about their future and retirement. And they were like, what do we do? What do we do? And I said, there's got to be a better way because everybody out there is focusing on how to make money. That's a sizzle. Where can you make money? But very few people are focusing on the defensive strategies, how to prevent money from losing and going down and growing it. So that's when we changed our whole business model because I started uncovering these accounts. I remember, I started uncovering these accounts where the clients could actually participate in the upside of the market without the downside risk. So at the time, you can interrupt me if you want to, right?
Yeah, no, you're good.
I was working for a very large insurance company called John Hancock. You've heard of John Hancock?
I have, yes.
And now John Hancock's a good company. I'm not bashing Hancock. But when you work for one of these companies, you are abiding by the products that they say you have to sell. So, John Hancock had John Hancock products. So I saw these other accounts. They weren't John Hancock. They were insurance-based. And basically, I went to John Hancock and said, look, I want to use these for clients. They can be really good for clients. And guess what John Hancock said?
No go.
And I kept saying, why? And I apologize. I thought I'd turn this notification beeping off. But basically, they said no. And that was the day I left John Hancock. I quit. I became independent. I said, never again will I have a company dictate what's going to be good or not for our client. We want to do the best for our clients and have the freedom to be able to do it. And since then, that's what we've been focusing on. And it's been a game changer for our clients.
Absolutely. So I want to ask this question because when I read through this bio and it says no market risk strategy that where you can participate in the market gains without market risk. What does that mean exactly? And what is this? What's this strategy that you're employing that allows for that?
So first of all, I want you to understand, I didn't make this strategy up. I'm not smart enough to do that. Right?
Fair enough.
It was offered by major insurance companies. It's been around for 25 years, but in the last 10 years, this has really been unbelievable. $65 billion of new assets went into this insurance-based strategy just last year alone. 65 billion. This year, they'll probably do close to 80 billion. And it's a very simple approach. Just like we insure our car, our house, we're insuring our portfolio against market losses, but still able to participate in the gains of the market. So when the market goes up, we're going to participate in some of the gains, not all, be a little too good to be true. But when the market goes down, we don't go down with it, right? So we do all these webinars and we have classes and we call it win more by losing less. You actually usually come out ahead, because the magic in this is if you don't go down, you don't have to recover the loss. Make sense?
Right. Yep.
So if you do the math, and I'll give you an example. Let's say you got $100,000 and you lose 50% of what you have. What do you have left?
50 grand.
Yeah. So think about it. You lost 50%, you're at 50, you were at 100. What percentage do you need to earn back to get back to where you are? You didn't know you were going to do math today.
Yeah, no, I didn't. What would you have to do?
Think about it. If you had 100, you're down 50%, you're down to 50 grand. If you only make 50% back, you're only at 75 grand, right?
So you got to make 100%.
You got to make 100% back just to get back to where you are. Now think about it. Imagine someone in their 60s ready to retire in 5 years or 10 years. They want to spend the next 5-10 years making back their lost money. That's why the strategy, and it's generally a great strategy for 50 and over. That's why the strategy works so well, because you don't have time to recover from the losses, because every time you lose money, you got to spend more time and energy just to make it back.
Wow.
So that's why there's such a great type of account for clients. I believe in diversification strategies, and a lot of clients are missing the boat. We call them the green line at our seminars. We actually show, slow and steady wins the race.
Right. So is this a strategy that an individual would want to employ like later in life, or is this something that you would recommend? Hey, if you're a young buck and you're just getting started and you're starting to put money away, dive into it with me.
Yeah, so this is an insurance strategy, and what insurance vehicle we use may depend on age. So I'll give you an example. Generally, if someone's 50 or over, basically the strategy is called a fixed index annuity. And I know when I say the word annuity, some people will gasp, an annuity. Well, there's a lot of misinformation about annuities. There's a lot of kinds of annuities. So you got to be careful what we're talking about. We're talking about one kind and one kind only, fixed index annuities. Upside gains, no downside risk, and do it for zero fees half the time. But with that said, I find if you have retirement money or you're 50 and over, it could be a good strategy. But here's the great thing. If you're younger, there's a different strategy we can use. Same concept of growing your money, but use a life insurance policy instead. So cash value in life insurance is very unique in its strategy. It's what wealthy families use for generations to create what we call tax-free income. Two favorite words, tax-free. Don't you like those words?
I love tax is not my favorite word, but putting put that free with it, and my ears perk up.
So I'm a fiduciary. I always have to do what's in the best interest of a client. So it depends on everybody's situation. Please understand, we're talking concepts here. Nobody should go out just from a concept and do it. You got to talk to a professional. Absolutely. Which is really important, right? But if I was younger, I tell a lot of my clients, 50, 60, come to me, what about my kids? I'm like, look, if you're not taking advantage of that same indexing strategy, participating in the upside without downside risk, and you're younger within a life insurance policy, you're missing the boat on that. Because that cash value grows tax-free, and you can take it out tax-free in certain conditions. So please understand, look, everything's changed in life. We got our phones. How many times have you upgraded your iPhone? Or if you have one, I don't know if you're an iPhone person.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. So I am an iPhone person. I probably get a new phone every 2 years, but this thing upgrades every other week, it seems like.
But look, the way we talk on the phone has changed. The way we drive cars have changed, right? The way we listen to music and watch movies have changed. Things have changed in the financial industry, and so many people are still telling you the old crap that's out there, right? So life insurance has changed dramatically. I don't mean to get technical, but there's a code called the 7702 tax code that allows life insurance to grow tax-free, cash value life insurance. And it used to be the death benefit and cash value had to have a space between them. Well, the government revamped it a few years ago, and the space between them is less, meaning you could grow more money more effectively. Totally different ballgame now. So the idea is, if you're younger, there may be a tax-free strategy. If you're older, maybe it's tax-deferred strategy. But again, if you like the concept of peace of mind of not going, like today, as we're talking, the market dropped 800 points.
Wow.
Like if you were in the NASDAQ, the tech, you lost 3.5% of that portfolio in a day.
In one
You're
day.
sick and tired of that. Imagine it doesn't go down, but shares on the upside. And you know what the trade-off is? The trade-off is time. Meaning,
right.
Okay, you're giving up a little liquidity for a short amount of time, knowing that you could pull money out if you need to, but nobody needs their money 100% liquid 100% of every minute of every day. You're paying for liquidity. The money in the bank is lazy money. You're paying for that money. So if we could give up a little liquidity, knowing we could pull, let's say, 10% out, and we're okay with that, because we're going to pull maybe the money out slowly over time or down the road, you can get rid of the risk, get rid of the fees, right, and participate in the gains. And I know I'm very passionate about it. That's why you see me do it. But it was a solution that I created. It was a solution that I saw was needed out there, and that's why I focused on it. Because I speak to clients every day.
Right.
That's their biggest concern, outliving their money in retirement. And that's what we help them do.
Yeah, so I have a question, because you mentioned this, that these are strategies. It's not something you should just go out there and all willy-nilly try to sign up for yourself. For an individual looking for a professional to be able to help them through this, what are some of the things that they should look for when trying to find the right professional to partner up with or to have employ these strategies?
Well, I'm going to tell them to call me, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less.
I do believe that what you want to look for is someone who's got experience in this business, someone who's a certified financial fiduciary, someone who does these accounts, and lastly is completely independent, meaning they're allowed to use different companies, because that's the thing. There are 40 to 50 different insurance companies that offer these things, and each insurance company has 5 to 10 products. Could be 400 products that you need to look through, and you're not going to do it on your own, but you need a specialist in my opinion. You need someone focusing on that.
Absolutely. Hey, so I have a question. So all over different video and social media platforms, I've been seeing this concept of being your own bank by using insurance. Is this along the same lines of what you're talking about? Is it the same type of policies, or are there?
Yes.
Can you explain that stuff to me a little bit? Just because I've been curious how that actually works.
So they're talking about the same concept, cash value in life insurance, but there's a little bit of a distinction, right? Just a little of an opinion here. Look, if we look at the basics of life insurance, there's two types of life insurance. There's term life insurance and permanent life insurance. Term is something that you buy very, very inexpensive for a large death benefit. It serves a purpose. Think about, you're renting the insurance, 20 years and it's gone, right?
Yep.
Permanent life insurance, you own it. You're building equity in it. Now, how you build equity depends on the type of permanent insurance. So the one most people heard of is whole life insurance. And whole life insurance will grow cash value, but it's kind of like a CD type of growth, right? And this is my opinion. I like what they call fixed indexed life insurance, because your cash value is going to track an index or participate in an upside of an index without any downside risk, right? So to me, your potential for growth is much, much higher. So that's just a difference of opinion. You may see these things bank on yourself. Some of them may promote whole life insurance. Others may promote indexed universal life. But it's that permanent insurance with the cash value growth is what they're talking about.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So if somebody's listening to this episode and they're, you've piqued their interest, what would be, some of the questions that they should start asking either their self or their spouse? Like, how do they start that conversation? And then what are some of the questions they would ask a professional to try to figure out exactly where to go?
Great question. I mean, look, one of the things I will tell you is that the concept sounds great, but oftentimes the policies or the plans have to be customized to meet your needs. So sometimes, here's the thing you got to understand. If you're doing this, you're not necessarily doing it for a death benefit, even though there's life insurance in it. We want to keep the death benefit as low as possible, put the most amount of cash in it, right? So sometimes these things are sold with the concept of it, but they're not funded enough. So one of the questions you want to ask an advisor is, hey, what's the maximum funding we can do on this policy before we change the tax code on it, all right? There's a maximum amount you could put in, because if you only put the minimum in, you'll never see the growth, in my opinion.
Right.
The other thing is you need a commitment here. You need to put that money in for a good 5 to 10 years. You got to understand this is not now, what we're talking about specific to the life insurance here. This is not an overnight thing. You need at least 10 to 12 years to let this thing percolate. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not going to happen overnight. You're actually creating money tax-free, and it will take about 10 to 12 years to percolate that money. So you got to have some time invested in it, right? So those are the expectations, because if you don't set the expectations out right, you could get disappointed. And, this is a commissionable business, meaning, I do both. I do assets under management and I do these insurance strategies. Understand, when we're talking insurance, it's a commission. I get paid directly by an insurance company. So when that advisor is getting paid commission, you just got to make sure the plan is built correctly for you, not for them. Right. I use some companies that actually will pay less commission because it's better for the client to build their cash value a little better. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to ask, how much can you put in? What's the maximum you could put in, and get a projection of what's going to happen on that. Now, on the other side of things, the annuity side of things is a little different, right?
Right.
Again, the annuity side of things will generally deal with people 50 and over. And with that, the thing is always, what's the goal of the money? Look, your money has only two purposes in life. Let me rephrase that. What's the purpose of the money, right? The goal of the money is to grow money. Nobody ever says, my goal is to lose money.
Right.
Yet you're doing it every day in the market. It's crazy, right?
Right. Absolutely.
But the goal of the money is to grow. But there's only two purposes of money. You can either use it while you're living or leave it when you're dead. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's absolutely right on base.
So my suggestion is you want to look at certain investments you have and say, what's the goal of this money? If the goal of this money is to use it while you're living, there are strategies to implement that you can do very, very well. If the goal is to leave it when you die, there are other strategies to use, and that will really dictate the right type of account or plan for someone. Like we have accounts that can give someone guaranteed income for the rest of their life, never run out of it, like a pension, where they can do it themselves.
Very cool.
It's a matter of, I'm always asking that to clients. It's amazing to me. Some clients, I'm not sure. Well, I got an answer for that too, right? If you're not sure, okay, we cover a few things, but it's so important to identify the goal of the money for living or legacy.
Yep, absolutely. So for any individual that's interested in, every phase of what you've talked about, if they wanted to try to connect with you even, do you do any sort of like initial consultation? Like what's that look like?
Yeah, so we do. In fact, if they want a copy of our book, I got a Rock Your Retirement book right here. We talk about it on our TV show. They want a copy of the Rock Your Retirement book. All you go to is rockyourretirementtv.com. So it's rockyourretirementtv.com. A landing page will pop up. Just put information, get instant access to the book. That's a great starting point. In addition, we could always say it'll offer you a 15-minute consultation as well. And, one of the things I always want to talk with someone a little bit first is find out what they're trying to accomplish. Because there may be some preparation that I need to do or they need to do based on what they're trying to accomplish. So we usually start with a 15-minute complimentary consultation. Again, if you just want to read the book, you go to the site, rockyourretirementtv.com. But it'll offer you a 15-minute consultation. You can schedule it right there and then on the calendar link that we have.
Absolutely. And what does that consultation look like? Like, what are the typical questions that your clients typically have for you? That way, for those listening, they might get their juices turning.
Yeah, look, it's all over the place, right? Tell me about. So you understand a lot of people who the book is. We have a TV show called Rock Your Retirement.
Yep.
So we talk about the book, and we talk about the concept of the safety. So a lot of people calling say, I want to learn more about what we call the green line, or I want to learn more about the no market risk strategy where I can grow my money without the downside risk of the market. So depending on that, the conversation is like, hey, what prompted you to reach out to us? What we're trying to accomplish here? What's your concern? Is there one account you're looking to do something with? I'll give you an example. I have a saying called the stray 401k. Now, you know what a 401k is, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. How many people left their jobs and left their 401ks behind? I call that a stray 401k. Just
Right.
like a stray dog. You know, you left your job, you left your company. Maybe you didn't even want to leave the company. Maybe they fired you. Maybe you left on bad terms. But that company, you left your money, your hard-earned money behind in that company's 401k.
Right.
There's hidden fees in those 401ks. A lot of hidden fees. There's limited options. That 401k needs some 10 to 11 care like a stray dog would, right?
Right.
So like, I'll always ask someone, hey, is there one specific account you're looking to do something with? Or do you need help with the full financial picture? And depending on that, I'll set up a Zoom or, I'm in Connecticut, so a lot of times we'll use Zoom.
Right.
Everyone's welcome to come to our office too, but depending on that, I'm either going to offer a full risk analysis. Like sometimes we'll have people who are in the market and we'll offer a second opinion to have, is their money being managed correctly? We'll do a full risk analysis. Or sometimes you just want to see the no market risk strategy. So really, we meet people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we'll say, hey, we'd like to show you this. Usually we set up a Zoom after that. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep. So I was curious. I was actually curious about that as well. And I meant to ask that, like, for individuals that have a 401k, I would imagine that hits like a fail safe for most people where they think, oh, well, I don't need to think about changing up my strategy or what I have going on because my company has a 401k, they have a decent match, things like that. What are some of the things within a 401k that, are there some adjustments and changes that a person can make to that 401k that can have, maybe make it a better vehicle, to get them to their end goal?
It's hard to say, Joe, because here's the thing. Every 401k has different options and everyone has different risk levels, right? But what I will tell you, and there's a debate, here's the thing. I got good news. 401k is called qualified money, like IRAs, 401ks, are tax deferred. So I got good news and bad news, right? The good news is if you've amassed a lot of money in your retirement accounts, congratulations, you put it away. The bad news is you never paid taxes on that money. Right, so the government owns a third of that money. So I see people retire; they got $1 million in their 401k. They got a tax bomb ready to explode because the government owns a third of that money. Right,
wow.
$300,000 easily because they didn't pay taxes on that money.
Right.
So one of the things is it's debate about 401ks being good or bad. Let me tell you my opinion, and it's just my opinion. If you're getting matching money from a 401k, you should put as much in to match it because matching money from a company is free money. And I definitely think you want to maximize that for the matching money. Beyond that, the risk tolerance and the risk options are really based on your age and your risk tolerance, so it's hard for me to say.
Sure.
Because I don't care what someone's age is. Like, I've always hated losing money. Always hated losing money. Like, I got burned in the market in 2008, too. It was a terrible feeling. I don't want my money to go down, right? So, 401ks have very limited options to them. But I just know that, look, if you left a job and you have the stray one, you've got options to roll it over.
Right. And are you able to roll that over tax-free? How's that work?
So you're able to roll it. It's called, and forgive me if I use industry jargon, right? So if you have a retirement account like a 401k and you're not with the company anymore and you want to roll it over, you roll it over to what we call an IRA. Mm-hmm. It keeps its tax-deferred status. You don't pay any, as long as it's done correctly, you don't pay any taxes to move it over, and it, obviously keeps its tax-deferred status. Again, it's got to be done correctly. We do it all the time, and we know what to do. But it's really important that you don't touch the money if you're rolling it over. You want to roll it over directly from one institution to the other. You don't want to touch the money because as soon as you touch the money, the government's saying you're taking it out, and they'll crack you with either a penalty if you're under 59.5. And they'll crack you with paying taxes on it. So you got to do it institution to institution.
Absolutely. Yep. So, Michael, as we get close to the end of this episode, I always like to give each guest an opportunity to just, share any spots where people can connect with you if they want to follow you on social media. And then, of course, we have the website if they want to go and get a copy of the book as well. But if you don't mind just sharing, where people can connect with you on social media, all that jazz.
Yeah, so we're on Facebook. We have our Strategies for Retirement page on and Strategies for Wealth Management page on Facebook. Right, so just look up Strategies for Wealth Management. We post a ton of things on Facebook or on Instagram. Now, I will tell you on YouTube, my wife and I run the company together. My wife's name is Laura. So this is kind of just happened by accident. Mm-hmm. We happen to be in Las Vegas at an industry event. You ever go to Las Vegas?
I've never been, but I'm going in February for the 10X Growth Con.
The Growth Con, I'll be there too. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's a hotel called the Wynn Hotel, beautiful hotel. And as we're walking in the hallways and everything, there was this big podcast studio, like literally see through from the hallways and everything. And they do a lot of sports people there. And my wife and I said, wouldn't this be awesome if we could rent the studio out and do like a podcast or a little bit of a thing there? So we actually did it while we were there. We rented the studio out, and it was great. And so we said it's financial behind the scenes with Michael and Laura, and we talk about, you want to get to know us, this is great on a YouTube YouTube channel. So it's Strategies for Wealth Management or Rocket Retirement YouTube channel. We do this thing, financial behind the scenes, where we talk about what your relationship with money was growing up. Like, what was your first job? When you made your money, how did you feel? What did your parents tell you about the money, talk to you and teach you about money? So really go deep dive into a little bit behind the scenes.
Right.
That's a great thing to look at, too. It's Michael and Laura Behind the Scenes, Strategies for Wealth Management. We have a great website. Again, strategies, 4wm.com is our website. And I would say our Rocket Retirement TV show is awesome as well, and you want to look at that, the RocketRetirementTV.com.
Absolutely. Sorry, just writing all those down. For those listening, if you go to the LavahotPodcast.com, on there, I'll have a full profile built out for Michael. And in there, you'll be able to see, it'll be links to where you can get the book, where you can see the TV show, where you can see the radio show, links to his social media. So we'll have everything cataloged right there. You just go to the podcast, LavahotPodcast.com. You can even search for his name. It'll pull up, this episode, the video, whatever we have linked out there online, it'll all be housed right there onto the website to make it easy for you.
There's a cool exercise I do in the book called Your Financial Wheel of Life, where you measure each part of your life. Like there are major risks that we have: income, longevity, unexpected healthcare costs, inflation. And we have a little exercise called the Financial Wheel of Life, where you rate each from 1 to 10, 10 being your great shape, 1 being you need help, in each different category. And it's a great little exercise that we do. We also have our workshop, Rocket Retirement workshops, and our webinars. And we do that exercise in those as well. Clients love it.
Absolutely. What are some of the type of questions that you ask within that?
Well, like inflation, do you have money in the bank earning more dust than interest right now? Because inflation, we show at our sites like how inflation erodes your money. So, right now inflation is 7-8%. If you get no interest in the bank or very little, you're losing money. So we show people how they can get a little more interest, how to battle inflation or income. And this is particularly for people planning retirement, right? If they're retiring in 10 years or less of the current retired, is your income plan rock solid, right? Meaning, is it sustainable? Is it predictable? And is it increasing every year? And we have people rate from 1 to 10. Hey, I've got a rock solid income plan or I need help. Taxes. Do you have a tax-free strategy? Are you aware of the taxes you're going to have to pay? So different things like that. And we rate people from 1. Then we have a worksheet. You rate yourself from 1 to 10. It's really cool because we connect it. And, you think it's going to be a circle. It never comes out a circle. It's always a lopsided circle. So I say at the end of our seminars, hey, if you were driving, if that was a wheel on your car, it's usually pretty lopsided, the wheel that we show. Like this is a little picture of it, right? But it's usually lopsided. So the wheel we show, like if this is, here's like a lopsided wheel, right? You see that?
Yep.
So like if that was a wheel on your car, you're going 60 miles an hour, how long could you go before you would crash? And then we kind of bring it back. That's why you need to help. Let us help you.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, as we wrap up this episode, I just want to say, if there was one piece of advice you would want the listeners to walk away from this episode with, what would that be?
I think whatever age you are, it's important to get your money right. Don't ignore it. Too many people ignoring what's going on. They don't look at their statements. They don't track their progress in their finances, and they don't set themselves up. I'm a big believer in passive income. One way we do passive income I told you about. There are other ways as well, but I think it's really important to pay attention and know what's going on with your finances. Know what's going on, because nobody's going to pay. Like, you got to pay attention, because you're getting all this advice, and I have, advice is not always good advice, right?
Right.
So I believe you want to play offense and defense with your money. I'm a big football fan. Joe, do you watch football?
I do. I'm a big Ravens fan. And I
right.
think I saw on social media, I think you're a Jets fan, if I saw that correctly.
I've had a lot of misery over the years being a Jets fan. But here's the thing. In football, they have a saying, right? Offense wins games, but defense wins championships.
Yep.
Everyone's playing offense with their money. Where's the defensive strategy? And that's the problem. You want to play offense and defense. What is your defensive strategy in your accounts and your finances? And to me, that's what I would say. You got to have both. You can't no football team will go out and just play offense.
Right.
Play defense too, just as
right.
important. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, unless you're Tom Brady, then you're out there just swinging it. Yeah, not lately. No. But I'm sure as a Jets fan, you've seen that man throw a pigskin for a good while.
You got to respect Tom Brady. I'm not a happy guy about Tom Brady, but I can respect him as a quarterback.
Absolutely. Yeah, as a Ravens fan, I've always just had to respect the Pittsburgh Steelers. It just comes with the territory. But hey, Michael, I love that you took the time to come on to the show, to talk financial freedom, be able to talk some strategy with us. And again, for those listening, if you go to lavahotpodcast.com, I'll have everything cataloged right there for Michael. That way, you can connect with them, check out the book, you can check out the strategy, check out the show. He's got a lot of content out there, so I suggest definitely try to link into whatever platform suits you the best. But Michael, with that, I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate you coming on and dropping some knowledge on us. And that's the wrap of the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
You've been listening to the Lavahot Podcast with Joseph Connell Jr. Do you want to level up your business? Then visit us at golavahot.com for a free marketing analysis.